Hello, how are you doing on Cesar Blues channel? And this one today, I think it's the most special video of the year. Since for the first time, I'm going to do a top 10 of the best restaurants I visited in the last 365 days. And well, I'm going to give 3 virtual awards to the 3 winners. This year is the one I've traveled the most since I started on the channel. Yes, I've traveled half of Europe, literally France, Germany, Norway, Finland, Sweden, Switzerland, Italy, all of it. Well, Greece too, especially Spain. From top to bottom, from coast to coast, always in search of the best cuisines. This year, I've had the opportunity to try more than 500 different dishes. And it fills me with pride once again to say that I've done it completely independently, that I don't accept collaborations with restaurants. I choose where I record, what I order, and which videos I publish or don't publish. So, the 10 restaurants I've chosen for this ranking, believe me, are truly the best. As always, my personal criteria for this past year, the restaurant that makes it onto this list, has had to meet several standards that usually apply to all the videos I publish, but these ones in a very special way. I've truly valued the whole experience. From the moment I arrived, how I felt, the restaurant's atmosphere, their service, and most importantly, their cuisine. Did I highlight the restaurants? Or maybe because they have been so creative that they managed to leave a mark on my taste memory. Or on the contrary, those traditional restaurants where in fact they have awakened the best of my gastronomic memories. The big question is, would I return to that restaurant? It has also been crucial to put together this list. Although believe me, this year has been a year with really good restaurants and I think I would go back to almost all of them. But anyway, I'll start this review right now. Stay until the end to see which ones are the winners who will get their respective trophies. And now, let's really start this review of 2025 with the top 10 restaurants of the year. And to kick off the ranking at number 10, we'll head to the northeast of Segovia, to the heart of Riaza, a must-stop for any food lover. There's a restaurant there called Casa, which amazed me from the moment I walked in. Great atmosphere in a small, very homey restaurant. I ordered a Ribera del Duero wine, a condominium, and started with the appetizer. This Valseca chickpea hummus is on the house. Next then, this smoked sardine with carazo bread, the super crispy bread from Sardinia, which by the way also came between the sardine and the bread. This salmorejo combines crunchiness and refreshment, perfect for main courses. I ordered croquettes. Why? They had lamb and cantimpalos chorizo croquettes, but honestly, how can there be a suckling lamb croquette? Here it is, creamy with a mild suckling lamb flavor. The Cantimpalos chorizo croquette surprised me. I expected it to be redder, but it tasted strongly of chorizo and was delicious. Lentils with boletus mushrooms. Well, I don't usually find lentils in restaurants, and I love these. They taste completely homemade, and above all, the texture was new to me and very pleasant. Thanks to the boletus mushrooms, which also gave it a really nice touch of flavor. This piglet ear in sauce was the star dish. It was the best. An absolute 10. Tender, juicy piglet ear with a lip-sticking sauté. Honestly, is it worth visiting Riaza just for this? But there are more meatballs, specifically lechal meatballs with fried potatoes, which were also delicious. And to finish the savory dishes, I ordered the stewed lamb shank since, hey, I don't usually find this kind of roast in shank form. It typically comes as a hindquarter, and here, the meat just fell apart. I love the sautéed base it had, and it's a dish, well, really, of pure traditional flavor. For dessert, I ordered the lemon marquesa, a typical Venezuelan dessert made with condensed milk, lemon, and cookies. And the blue cheesecake, which was delicious, with apple jam. Hey, listen, what a show! I loved the strong flavor of the cheese combined with the homemade apple jam. At number 9, I'm staying here in Madrid at the most authentic Galician restaurant in the capital, El Chacón restaurant. Here I ordered the cloudy wine, served in the traditional cup, the cunca, rather than a glass, with a slightly sweet touch. It went down really well, and as free appetizers with your drink, they serve you some olives and some potatoes. Alioli in the Madrid style, with its cool garlic and parsley mayonnaise and just a little garlic. That's right. Although I love the country bread to go with the meal, I began with Galician broth served in a clay bowl as it should be, with beans, potatoes and turnip greens. Such a homemade flavor. It really reminded me of my grandmother's. A perfect 10. Next, a jumbo-sized meat empanada, and I have to say, the bread dough was delicious with a filling packed with plenty of meat, peppers, tomato and paprika. Overall, a real show. You can't miss ordering the octopus with potatoes in a place like this. The portion is more than generous with sweet and sour paprika, and it's more than enough because it comes with 2 layers of octopus. And the potato, well, what can I say? It was delicious. I also ordered padron peppers, another generous portion, although you know that lately padron peppers aren't spicy at all. The lacon with grelos was the biggest dish of all, with the lacon, obviously, the grelos, which, as you know, are turnip greens, boiled potatoes, and its chorizo, which, by the way, was really good. I couldn't finish it all, and I had to ask for a container to take it home. Number 8 spot, watch out, the best sandwich in Madrid. It's a discovery that completely changed my perspective. Look, it's called Pistola, it's in Madrid. I was pretty hungry and I ordered several sandwiches at this little tavern. I ordered the Valle Mayor Rioja and as an appetizer, something on the house. Do they serve olives? That's a classic. In Madrid, I tried both Gilda with pickled anchovy and with regular anchovy. They were absolutely delicious. Well, just to compare, I like the salty start. Also, the potato salad with tuna left me speechless, especially because of the huge chunk of tuna sitting on top of the dish. It came with some piparas on the side. And as a fun fact, let me tell you that here in Madrid, the potato salad is served with sandwich peas, which is what I came to try. I tried the almadraba tuna sandwich with a red tuna sirloin, which was spectacular. It also had roasted vegetables and a touch of pepper. It's the best tuna and pepper sandwich I've ever had in my life. By far, but the best is yet to come. I continued with the pork crackling and sobrasada sandwich with thinly sliced Cadiz crackling, artisanal black pork sobrasada, Galician tortilla cheese with protected designation of origin, pepper and lime zest. The beef sandwich with yearling steak from Discard Lux, which was top quality and absolutely delicious, sautéed with garlic and its own juices. Well, soaking the bread over a bed of tortilla-style fried potatoes. An absolute 10, although of course the real star is the sandwich that won 3rd place at the Madrid Fusion Sandwich Competition this year. The baby squid sandwich features freshly fried baby squid, similar to calamari, with a squid, onion and blood sausage stew at the base, roasted garlic aioli on one bread, and a thin layer of smoked Iberian pork jowl on top. This is the best so-called calamari sandwich I've ever had in my life. Far surpassing the classics from Plaza Mayor, this plays in a whole different league for spot number 7. We travel to the Mecca of meat, Tolosa, the town famous for its steaks par excellence. I've been here several times, but I didn't know about Asador Burunchi, a place with absolute grilling tradition, incredible quality, and more authentic than anything else. To drink, I ordered a Crianza, a Luis Cañas from 2021, a Little Rioja, and for the starter I ordered the mixed Iberian platter, which comes with ham and loin. Sliced ham, ham cut by machine. I prefer it by hand, but I have to say that this ham, even though it was cut by machine, was a delicious treasure, just like the Iberian loin. An absolute 10. I ordered a Tudela lettuce heart with anchovies. Well, it caught my attention, and honestly, I loved it. Yes, very tasty. Asparagus with mayonnaise is a classic too, or at least it was when I was a kid. The day you wanted to eat well, hey, some good asparagus with mayonnaise, these were really big and they come with what seems to be homemade mayonnaise. Look, even though a lot of people say you shouldn't put mayonnaise on them, well, I did. And the main course? The star of the day was the beef chop, the main reason for the visit. At the price of 75 euros per kilo grilled over coals, I think it's a very good value for the quality. A clean cut with no excess fat or bone, it has the bone separated precisely for easier, more comfortable eating. It's toasted outside, pale pink beneath and deep red at the center, 3 textures, pure meat flavor, no extreme aging. A perfect 10 for the ribeye, and for a side, the Lodosa peppers, the ultimate garnish and best side for a good ribeye. For dessert, I got cheese and idiazabal with quince paste, a classic. The cheese was very aged, almost crumbly and delicious, and the homemade quince paste was perfect. To finish, enjoy the delights of Tolosa, gorochas, small almond and candied egg yolk pastries, the almond tile, and Tolosa cigars. We've reached number 6 with a true legend. We're heading to León, in the heart of El Bierzo, where the Palacio de Canedo is located. It's without a doubt the most famous restaurant in the whole region, and I assure you that the experience at this restaurant begins as soon as you arrive, because it's a beautiful place to see. So I ordered a wine from their own vineyards, a 2018 Reserva, and for starters, well, a few half portions of chestnut croquette, chorizo croquette, and cured beef croquette with goat cheese. I hadn't tried them before. The chestnut ones tasted oddly like anchovies with anise, but the chorizo and goat cheese ones were more familiar. They were delicious. Next, I ordered pressed lacon with peppers, boneless, cooked and pressed lacon served like cold cuts with roasted peppers. They make them themselves and they're on another level. This was an absolute 10, especially when paired with the delicious country bread from the main dishes house. I clearly remember the tripe with chickpeas served in a clay pot with pig's foot, snout, chorizo, sumptuous, sticky tripe. The León blood sausage with cachelos is a casing-free blood sausage which I love. It's typical from León and I was surprised by how well it pairs with potato. A big hit also. I ordered cod loin, a regional classic, with pig's trotters and prawns. This was the only dish I got a full portion of. Because its name really caught my attention, and listen, even though it sounded really good, it wasn't the dish that convinced me the most. Because the star dish, well, you know, is the botillo. The pork sausage is stuffed with rib and tail, lots of meat and paprika, and served with cabbage, potatoes, and chickpeas. I love the tail, I love the rib, it's a really hearty dish as much as it gets. I don't know how I finished it and still made it to both desserts. On one hand, cheese with homemade quince paste, just like my grandmother made, and soft cow cheese. And finally, a classic in the area as well, which is cherries in brandy. A very strong festive dish, ideal to finish this feast at number 5, a stop in Lugo to visit Santa Comba, a restaurant with tradition through and through. Here, the only secrets are the fire, embers, quality ingredients, and, above all, Galician hospitality. They made me feel at home as soon as I arrived. This time, I had a Ribera del Duero tras las cuestas with the appetizers. Well, the peppers stuffed with cow cream, really big peppers, and of course Lugo bread, Galician bread, which is delicious. I also ordered recommended small squid from the Ria, a 10 out of 10 off the menu. They just came with garlic, parsley and oil, which was more than enough. I also ordered the grilled razor clams, again served with garlic and parsley dressing in a generous, abundant portion. There was a large amount of food to satisfy your appetite, but there was still more to come. And they recommended that I order the grilled red bream. It was the fish of the day, and I was actually going to order hake. This red bream, cooked in the charcoal oven, had a hint like a berry that honestly fascinated me. The house specialty was beef changuro on the stone, a unique local dish. Although meant for two, I finished it myself. It's just a dish shaped like a spider crab, where they've placed different pieces of meat for you to cook yourself. On the stone, it comes with ribeye, sirloin, arañita, the butcher's famous cut, and well, it's served with plenty of homemade potatoes on the side. I loved it. For dessert, I ordered my father's favorite in these cases, which is the whiskey cake, which I also really love, and something homemade, which was the grandma's cake. Which didn't really convince me, to be honest, but overall, it wrapped up a meal that was a complete success. Number 4 takes us right to the shadow of the Segovia Aqueduct. We're at Maribel Grill. While many go for the most touristy places, the critics are clear. They say this is the best roast suckling pig in Segovia. And I assure you that every bite confirms the legend of drinking. I ordered the set menu, so the house red wine came as a carafe with the appetizer. Olive oil from our own harvest of the pickle variety, and rustic bread to soak up plenty of oil. Besides the set menu, I ordered a half portion of extra jumbo torreznos. It still seemed huge. They were warm, with a good balance of lean meat and crackling, and honestly, I didn't find them overly greasy. I also ordered stewed moretes with mushrooms, pig snout slow cooked in a silky flavorful sauce similar to oxtail stew. It's cooked for a long time so that the gelatin melts and makes your lips stick together. On the menu there's Castilian soup with La Granja's large white beans, a true classic. I enjoyed the chorizo made with La Granja's large white beans, but I especially loved the roast suckling pig. I chose the rib part after seeing how they cut it with a plate in true Segovian style. The skin was extremely crispy and the meat fell apart easily. This is on par, I assure you, with the most famous grill houses. And by the way, at a better price than some restaurants you might already be thinking of. As a side dish, well, the salad with lettuce, tomato and onion, and for dessert, the Segovian punch. I love this little sponge cake filled with pastry cream, soaked in syrup, and covered with a bit of marzipan. A good feast in Segovia is always a 10 to finish. And now let's move on to the 3 trophies: the bronze cup, the silver cup, and the gold cup. Let's start with the bronze cup. The cup heads to Alicante, a place full of history. Viva el no! Manolin is no ordinary restaurant. Besides being a good restaurant, they say it has the best bar in Europe. Absolutely masterful product. He pairs the meal with a Pepe Mendoza red wine from Alicante, made with Monastrell grapes and complimentary appetizers. They serve cheese and salchichon from the things I ordered, which were quite a few. Here's my list. I began with the anchovy and boqueron gilda. It was large with anchovy, boqueron, pickled tomato, 2 olives, gordal, and piparra. The Iberian ham couldn't be missing, the really good kind from Joselito. In fact, they have a slicer there, always slicing ham. This is always a 10. I also ordered the ham croquette, which comes with a freshly sliced piece on top, very crispy. The croquette, like with panko, really creamy inside, with lots of little chunks. You had to order the Swarovski, which is a piece of crunchy crystal bread that they call Swarovski. In this case, with Russian salad with plenty of potato, egg, carrot and anchovy from Santonia, I ordered another Swarovski with ham and quail egg, with the same crystal bread. Everything is made fresh right in front of you. I love this sea urchin with béarnaise sauce, served in its own shell. The sauce was absolutely delicious and paired really well with the sea urchin. The dish had a strong taste of the sea, and what really tasted like the sea was the Denaya red prawn. Always a 10 out of 10, they were grilled. I sucked on the head, which left me really satisfied as always, and I loved it. Pig ear with Biscayne sauce. Careful, this is off the menu. I don't know if this will still be available. They were doing the Jose Little Lab thing, and this was one of the dishes. Battered and fried Iberian pig ear, very good and extremely crunchy. I had never ordered Roman-style calamari in any restaurant because I had never seen it, especially like this. This squid was on the counter, they cut it and prepared it, and right away it was half a portion. I assure you this is a show, because the squid was so fresh and delicious. I think I would come back just to have this dish again, among others. I also ordered the tuna belly with Iberian pork snout juice, another off-menu item. This was my dish. It was my favorite up to that point because I didn't know what was coming next. Next came the morel mushrooms with foie and low-temperature egg, recommended by a subscriber dining across the bar. And it's legendary, but absolutely incredible. In fact, I went back to the restaurant months later and ordered the morel mushroom dish again. Last dish, the Iberian pork belly, also by Jose, stuffed with a daxeles, kind of like a beef Wellington, but without the puff pastry. Another winning dish, without a doubt. And for dessert, well, I ordered 2. An apple tart with a hint of Iberian ham and a rice pudding, which they served on a really big plate. This one wasn't as creamy as I usually like, but it was still very tasty. I assure you that I remember this restaurant very clearly, the one that takes the silver cup. And I will never forget my visit to the Hermandad de Pescadores, right in the heart of Hondarribia, because it's one of the most beautiful towns in Spain and in the whole world, and also because this restaurant has several things that I'm going to tell you about. Let me tell you, I had my meal with a Texacoli, a local wine, of course, and I started with the most famous dish of the place, which is the fish soup, which they say is the best fish soup. I ordered the Donostiara-style changuro with its shredded spider crab meat, leek, onion, all inside the crab's own shell. A dish of pure pleasure, like these clams in green sauce. Oh my goodness, they were so delicious, simply prepared like this with their parsley, pine and garlic sauce. But the star dish that I wasn't expecting, and that I ordered on the house's recommendation, was the plate of fried eggs with cod. The best dish this year, 2025. By far the broken eggs with a pill sauce they make from cod skins and these nice thick fries. Absolutely masterful, even above this hake collar, grilled. I ordered the whole piece, which is usually for 2 people, and, well, I enjoyed it down to the last bite. It came with a garlic, oil, and vinegar sauce. It was perfectly cooked and absolutely delicious. I finished with a couple of desserts too, both local specialties, the traditional dessert with custard and almonds. It looks amazing. The cutici, the house dessert, is natural curd with apple compote and honey. And I dedicated it to my mother, and I dedicate it to her again because my mother would love it since she loves curd. And now, yes, this is the most special moment. Well, the end of the ranking, the number 1, the undisputed best of the restaurants I visited this year. Let's see who this Gold Cup goes to. Well, yes, in the number 1 spot, undisputed and absolute, the restaurant I've liked the most this year, Martin Berasategui at Lasarte. This is a show from beginning to end. It's the most expensive of all. I would go again, and the experience for me is worth it. From the moment you walk in and they welcome you with a glass of champagne, Louis Reuter. I chose the tasting menu, 395 euros, and that way I was able to try all their star dishes. I started with the celery and mint cloud, which had smoked belly carpaccio, bergamot and caviar. This melted in my mouth. Also, the classic marinated olive, which is a liquid spherification with a strong olive flavor, served with peas, lagrima, and a crispy black olive brioche. Here they already brought me the wine I had ordered to go with the first part of the meal, which was a Pepe Mendoza. El Veneno from 2011 from Alicante Monastrell grape. Then came the millefeuille of smoked eel, foie gras, and apple. This is a classic from Berasategui. Since 1993 they've been making it an absolute 10. Without a doubt, the bread service was also a spectacle. Here they brought the long fermented bread with an impressive Iberian ham butter. Añana salt and once again the oil so you can dip your bread in it. Then came the squid duo, this crispy squid ball with aioli and paprika, which was accompanied by a ravioli made with the squid's own skin filled with its ink. An absolute spectacle. Second part of the bread, the fenugreek bread, which I had never tried before, and the Gilda Martin Berasategui's version. A spoon with anchovy spheres, pipara pepper and olive, accompanied by a balfego tuna tartare, anchovy cream, chili granita, capper broth. In short, very complete dishes, all of them continuing with the starters. They served me the smoked trout with crustacean tartare or with a celery sorbet, green apple granita, Taxacoli wine, and citrus sprout cream. And to go with it, the brioche bread with Iberian bacon. Next came the fake truffle, which was foie gras wrapped in trumpet mushroom powder. On top of a mushroom gelée with a slice of partridge and sheep cheese, another great dish, and now the white asparagus. A fake white asparagus risotto that I ordered instead of the oyster because I don't like oysters. It's a risotto made with pieces of asparagus, very creamy with a very milky flavor. Let's move on to the main courses. The birella hake was the first, grilled, topped with Iberian potato and a sauce of octopus, razor clams, goose barnacles, and seaweed foam. This was absolutely impressive and memorable. And the lobster dish with orange escabeche, fennel emulsion, crispy tapioca, and trout roe. Here the next wine I ordered to go with the meal arrived, which was this 2019 Pintia limited edition. I assure you it's one of the best wines I've ever had in my life. I loved it. Then came the meat dish, the first of the 2 meat dishes, which was this suckling lamb chop, cooked at a low temperature in an absolutely masterful way, accompanied by turnip cabbage and a surprisingly delicious liquid lamb fritter. The second of the meat dishes was roasted venison loin with tamarind sauce, salsify cream, foie gras, and crispy flowers. For dessert, they first served a hot and cold mojito, strawberry and lime slush topped with warm rum foam. Then came the white chocolate lemon, which is like a lemon trompe-l'oeil on an almond base, with a green bean almond granita and basil chlorophyll. The final dessert was a candied orange brioche with espresso, whiskey granita, and cocoa bubbles. And it ended with the chocolate 3 as petit fours, which were all delicious. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to support me by giving it a like and commenting what you thought about it. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done it yet, turn on the bell completely to get notifications. In the next video. And that's all for today. See you in the next video. Restaurant goodbye.